Hi guys, just a little roundup of what you three meant to me and how you made me how I am today. Um, you all influenced me in a certain way, and if I like to do in this particular order, there's no reason for this, but there's if I start with Derek. Derek to me was always the designer, the organizer, and he always used fine detail in putting together uh, any documentation or anything, scripts, anything like that to do with filmmaking, advertisement posters, anything like that. I used to design them perfectly by hand. There was obviously, no computer keyboards then. Um, and I used to do a tremendous job. And I really just love the way he used to do all the advertisement posters and all the writing and everything. It was always nice and neat and bang on, which is what you needed, especially when it came to scripts, so we could read them. But he always took it always one step further. He was a great designer. He did a lot of work in Winlicker Theatre, designing sets on stage. And then, as he progressed and progressed and progressed, he was designing masks, costume. He even designed Elvis jumpsuit for us to use in the Elvis shows. So that's how good he was. In fact, we probably had the only Elvis jumpsuit in Wigan when he'd finished. And obviously progressed from there. Horror masks, scars, injuries on the face. He did it all. And as I've grown up through the years from that, as I've developed, I've taken on more or less the same principle. I did a training pack for P&H once for voice training, voice direct picking training. And I actually designed a training manual with pictures, all keyed out, typed out properly. I have it somewhere. And the company actually used it. But that was only because I was watching what Derek used to do. And I just thought it was a tremendous achievement, me doing something like that. But I'd never thought of doing that unless I knew somebody who was close to me, who I knew that could do it. And then I started doing other stuff like I've done for Octennial, putting together magazines based on the films, pictures, typing, documentation, locations, everything like that. But it's all because of you, Derek. You made me start doing stuff like that. And I've always looked at you as being the designer. Talking of which, um, I've done a story myself. I did it. Oof, must have done it for about 15, between 15 and 18 years ago. I did this story called Deadliner. Um, it's about a curse that's been put on the whole of Britain, and it's something that has been long happening to Britain. It's a curse that we've deserved to have, and it's a horror. It's a horror fantasy, but it was one of my very first um, stories, apart from Twister, which I did many, many years ago. I never got to finish, but it was something I managed to start writing and finish. So I may bring that along at the meetup for you to have a look at. Yeah, so yeah, Derek influenced me in that respect. designing stuff like that. And then I progressed on making some Halloween stuff. I did. I thought I'd have a go at doing a lot of creature effects for Halloween on Halloween night. I did Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Pennywise from the film Hit, Samara from the film The Ring, and The Forgotten Prisoner, which was a childhood thing me and Derek grew up with. And yeah, I started doing all kinds of makeup and special effects like that myself. But that was because I learned so much from Derek. So yeah, I've always put Derek as the designer. Brendan, right. Well, Brendan taught me quite a lot. Not only did he show me how to try and be a good actor, which I still can't do, but he did try his best. And he was the best person to learn from. We was learning our lines doing Holy Night. And I was playing Curtis Burton, the ghost, coming back to warn him. And we were doing that scene over and over and over. In his living room, I think it was. And he gave me some really good directions how to approach acting and actually dealing with acting. Really gave me some good pointers. But not only the acting aspect of it all. I mean, Brendan thought I was fucking useless anyway. But yeah, but it weren't just that. It weren't just the acting. I mean, it taught me a bit. It really brought me out my shell because I had this thing of fear of authority. I was afraid of my bank manager. I was afraid of my boss at work. I was afraid of anybody with a suit and tie in them days. And he was the one who always told me that, look, you know, they're just people like you. They go home, they have a piss, they have a shit, they eat, they watch TV, they do everything. Just what you do. They're no different from you. Never be afraid. Always speak your mind. If you think they're wrong, tell them so. If you want something from them, like bank manager, if you want a loan, he doesn't give it you. All right, he's not going to kill you. Ask him. Just don't be frightened of these people. They're here to help you. And he brought me out of my shell in many respects. It was that breakthrough in authority, and it was like he was very wise about a lot of things. He used to, when we had his car at one time, and he used to drive me all the way around Wigan, all different areas of Wigan, and outside of Wigan as well. And he used to tell me about things and places that I didn't even know about. And this is a lad who's come from Kent. He was born in Kent, and he only been up Wigan for a few years, and he learned so much about the place. He learned more than what I learned, and it was refreshing and nice to see that somebody from another part of Britain was telling me things that to do with where I lived that I didn't even know about. So yeah, he taught me a lot, and he also taught me about the internet. He introduced me to the internet. He was showing me some Gary Newman stuff on the internet one day, and it was all beyond me. It was right over my head. I had no clue how to use it. I think this was the dial-up one at this time. It wasn't. There was no Virgin Media then, or broadband or any kind of broadband. And he introduced me to the internet and how to use it. Amazing information and knowledge that Brendan and still has today. You only have to hear him. when he does these videos. The amount of knowledge that he has. Tremendous guy. And finally, Kev, who I've always thought would be the operator. Taught me all I needed to know about the camera, really. Not just pointing it and pressing the red button. Many uses of the camera, even when it came down to sound editing and film editing. You could use it all by the camera. You didn't need an editing suite. Do it all by camera. Where to position the camera, people walking into camera, someone walking into shot, walking off shot. There were many things, many things he taught me. When I was working on the film Octennial, it got to the point where he learned me that much that we were both using the camera in the same technique with the same amount of knowledge. And this all came from time goes many years. He'd tell me on certain scenes that he wanted me to come from a certain area, then walk past and then go to another area. And he'd do a pan shot. And all this, I don't know what these terms were then. And he would show me step by step, doing a pan shot, doing a focus shot, a pull focus shot, to give the effect of fear and terror, sudden fear or terror. And lighting, sound, the whole works, the whole package that we went through, especially working on Octennial, like I said, because at that point we both had the same type of camera. And it was no point me having such a big camera with so many functions on it if I didn't know how to use it properly. So off camera, when we weren't actually filming, he would go through certain things with the camera with me. He would spend like hours and hours going through the many functions, the other things you can do with the camera, the attachments you can put on, the filter, using filter, getting the best sound, getting the best high balance, the white balance shots, and the colouring, the phase out colouring. There is so much involved in using the camera. And he was for me the professional showman. Then there was little toy fight techniques that we had to learn for certain shots in Octennial. His stunt training, which he and Derek did, really paid off well, because he was showing me things that even made me look like a hero. The fighting techniques that he was showing me was absolutely fantastic. You just could not tell the difference once we watched it back, and the way he was showing me the technique is unbelievable. So yeah, a credit to him. I must admit, when somebody can spend so much time with you, no matter who it is, so Derek showing me the design work, so Brendan showing me parts of Wigan or the internet, or showing me how to produce myself better when I'm acting in a scene, or if it's Kev spending time showing me how to use a camera properly. It's brilliant that you've got friends like that, because some people are so wrapped up in and busy in what they actually do that they don't have time to show other people because they're so busy. Now, we be spending nearly a whole day filming, but it would always, each and every one of them would always find time to showing me how it should be done. Show me some pointers, show me the best way to do this, the best way to do that. Always there showing me. And I always remembered all this. I remembered all this from all the three of you. All three of you showed me different techniques, whether it was filmmaking or producing at the end of filmmaking, like I tend to do with putting magazines together, putting DVDs together from the film and putting the covers on the DVDs, presentation, all that. That was down to Derek. And then you've got the technique involved in the actual acting to make it look as real as possible, down to Brendan. And then the actual filming, and then the sound, and then the light, the techniques of special effects, sound effects, down to Kev. All three of you made a major role. All three of you played a major role. And I've never forgot any of those techniques. I've always remembered them. And there's certain aspects in when somebody gives me a mobile phone and says, can you do me a video of, could you video me next to this building? I always say, well, the best way to do this is this. And that's not me talking, that's Kev. So you see, you carry it through the years. You still have it with you and still use it to this very day, whether you're filmmaking or not. It'll always be there. And it's all down to you three. We make such a good team. We've learned so much off each other. And it's great to have that. And I just thought it was nice to put this video together just to show you my appreciation of what you three have done for me. And I really do appreciate it. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Next, please. Good morning. Take a seat, please.
Yes, can you put those letters into me now, please? Thank you.
I need to get inside my brother's head. This is so complex, it's doing my head in.
Hang on a minute. How do I know you're not stringing me along? Yeah? How do I know you're not trying to stop me from solving this situation? More to the fact, how do I know you're not trying to carry on your brother's work?
For God's sake, Maguire, what would I achieve?